All right. Let us start. So yesterday I covered on the walking meditation and also the sitting meditation. And the walking, as I said, there are certain percentage that you all should try to do. And especially in the walking, you all need to have a lot of mindfulness. When you build up that mindfulness, then you direct that mindfulness into developing of Mettā, then it will help you to make the Mettā stronger and sustainable. Not only that, the Mettā, if you bring it to your sitting meditation, then the Mettā also becomes stronger and more sustainable. And also during the sitting meditation, there are methods of how is to simplify the lines. When we start off with a number of groups, then after that, you start off from yourself and the person you are venerated to or respected, then the group getting bigger and bigger, and finally towards all beings. As I said that as you develop them, then you slowly eliminate some of the groups that they doesn't give you any impact on that particular sitting or that particular moment of time. And then you slowly reduce them, and then only you feel something that is impactful to you. Sometimes it may be one group, two groups, sometimes maybe three groups. Then it's good. So this is something that we do. Usually, as I said, of course it can follow up until you just give up every group on all the names also, and just only the Mettā flowing only. That one is much more advanced level. More advanced level. But if you keep on trying, you will finally come to that too. Because Mettā is finally to simplify and keep on simplifying until the mind and the Mettā is there. So that one, it's much more advanced. So most of us, perhaps we have to be content with one or two groups, or even one or two groups. You can give something, you feel good already. Sometimes you sit down there half an hour already, you try this, try that, still nothing. How come? Nothing here, this group also nothing, that group also nothing, that group also nothing, myself also nothing, the venerated one also nothing. That one is a bit problem already. That means we got to redevelop that mindfulness again. And then mindfulness needs to be developed again, then only the Mettā will start flowing again. That's why, as I said, the mindfulness is important in order for the Mettā to arise. Now, tonight we're going to touch on the daily activities. The daily activities and how we can bring about that mindfulness and also the Mettā. But before we go on, I forgot something. Tomorrow, make sure that those I've sent out the interview list already for the first group of the B group. B1 group. I sent out this one. Please take a look also, and also in group A also. I already sent out in a group chat the interview list for tomorrow. So the B1 will be tomorrow night. Now, the interview I divided for group B into three groups. Group 1, B1, B2, and B3. So tomorrow will be B1. B1 mainly is towards the people from the south, in the sense that if you are from mostly like Selangor area, and a lot of Selangor, KL, Malacca, Singapore, and also Indonesia, mainly are that, but there are exceptions to the rules. Then after that, you have another group is is the one from US because of the time difference. Because of time difference, then I put them, usually that one will be in the morning, the interviews. And also there are some of the Malaysians also go into the morning group also. And also the third group is mainly from the north, above Perak, Perak and above, and then north. And then we have the B3 group. So in this B3 group, we have a lot of, because there's also a number of group is there, a number of participants from the northern side. So this northern side, you will take note of it. In this one, including Sarawak also. And this group, a lot of them, if you do not know Hokkien, I think you better don't come into this group, because some of them may speak Hokkien and speak this and that, and then they're going to have a hard time understanding if you don't understand Hokkien. But anyway, we go back to the this one again. Now, on the daily activities, you see, in when we do a meditation, whether you are doing any form of samatha meditation or vipassana meditation, you must never neglect your everyday. Everyday means not the everyday formal sitting, walking, but the moment to moment that you carry out your everyday life. Those things you have to incorporate with some degree of mindfulness. Or right now, if you are doing metta, we also must incorporate the metta as part of our routine. As part of our routine. And we're going to see how we're going to arouse this metta. And we're going to see also, after that, sometimes you say you do metta, but actually you're not really do metta. Or sometimes you think that you do mindfulness, but you're not actually doing mindfulness, you're doing something else. Then over a long time, then say that, I thought I'm doing metta, but how come everything also nothing yet? Maybe perhaps one of the reasons is that you're doing something wrong, or there's a lot of defilements that's connected to it. So tonight we're going to look into it. We're going to look into it. At least you can differentiate between what is the right one and what is the not so right one, or even the wrong one. Okay. Let us share some of the screen. Now, so when we do this per day, let's say per day. Now, if you are in this retreat of metta retreat, or if you are in a vipassana retreat, and if you are in the vipassana retreat, of course, we don't do metta so much. It's just only sometimes some yogis also do a little bit of it, but mainly is on mindfulness and towards the development of vipassana. Whereas over here, when we do a metta bhavana, we develop that mindfulness also, and together we direct it to development of metta. Okay? Now, if you are familiar with the vipassana meditation, if you are familiar with the vipassana meditation, and then you can see the moment from you wake up and until the moment at night, throughout the whole day, you are supposed to be mindful, or as mindful as you can. Most of the time for yogis, what they do is that they have certain degree of mindfulness, but sometimes they do not know how to turn it into a vipassana practice. Okay? Now, in the vipassana development at that time, when we say that, when you are opening the door, you got to put your awareness there. You got to put your alertness there, that you feel the handle that you're opening, you're touching, you feel the warm or the cold, and then you push through, and you push and so on. When you do that, when you do those things, it's just only mindfulness only. You're only doing mindfulness only. You're not really doing vipassana, inside. But that one is important. You need that. You need that. Not to say that it's not important, but you must realize that that way of doing it is just still mindfulness only. But if you're going to move it to one step further, like you're going to go into vipassana, is that you're going to feel like when you touch the handle, initially you feel that it's cold, but as you pay attention to it, the coldness starts to change into warmness. That means that you notice things starts to change a little bit here, and you see that there's a variation of changing is there. Then you push the mind into vipassana. Yeah. That is a big difference. But of course, people don't go and mention these things and that unless you are really in a retreat. Then that is really important. So here again, we want to have that mindfulness, but not going into the vipassana part of it. So you must know how to where to handbrake, hold your brake so that you don't go into vipassana. But you know that how to go into vipassana. That is also important. So the mindfulness part is that you feel there's a warmth, but you don't see there's a change in the warmness or the coldness. You feel there's a tightness, but you don't see the changes in the tightness. You feel there is a pressure that is happening, but you don't see how the pressure is keep on changing and changing and changing. It's just like the mind touch on it only. Now, this is some degree on mindfulness. Now, in the daily mettā and mindfulness, this is varies depending on the condition that you are there at that moment of time, at the present condition. It is not easy to do mettā all the time. Sometimes you need some degree of mindfulness. So if you have some degree of mindfulness or mettā in your life, it will be wonderful already. At least you are living in a wholesome mental state. But it's not like when you're talking about walking meditation, how many percent this, how many percent that. That one, it's walking meditation because that is only 1 hour. Then we can able to, adjust our time for mindfulness and mettā. But whereas you are in the everyday life, the whole condition is very different. That you have to go to work, some of you, and many of you I can see from the list, that you are still working. You have a day job, and then at night you have your children, you have your husband and wife, and other things to take care. So sometimes you need some degree of mindfulness and you need some degree of mettā. So from the moment you wake up, sometimes from the moment you wake up, you can try this. You can try like, may all beings be free from harm and danger. Don't wish like may my day be good, may my day be well. That is more like you kind of like expecting you don't want to have a lot of problems in your life. When the problems come in, you don't want to take it. It's not about that. The later part, we're going to talk about the mettā, different part of mettā. But in the morning time, let's say when you wake up, you can either do some degree of mettā, like may all beings be well and happy, may all the people be well and happy. Just a simple one. Then after that, you wake up. Then you wake up, you want to do something. Then after that, for example, you go to your bathroom and then you want to wash your face. At that time when you want to wash your face, perhaps this time you put some mindfulness into it, that you are aware that you are here. Not like when you are here, you really start thinking of, oh, what I'm going to do in the office right now. Oh, I'm going to cook after that. Oh, I'm going to do this and that. Your mind is running here and there, even in the early part of the morning. So here is that you're going to gather the mind back again. Gather the mind back to the present, to the mindfulness. Then perhaps, let's say you walk. Then in the morning, then if you're, let's say you are staying in a condominium and then you're 20, 30 floor above, then you look at the people, there are some activities around there, and then you just touch and go. May all beings, may all of them be free from harm and danger. And then you drink your coffee, and then of course you walk back and to do any other thing. You can just do that. It's just like you touch a little bit, you give them a line, you give them 1 line, 2 lines, Then after that, you can move on to do other things. Then you move on to do other things. Then at that time, you want to be more alert. For example, after that later part, you want to do some cooking. You want to do some preparing of the food for the breakfast. Then when you prepare the food for the breakfast, then you put some mindfulness into it. You want to prepare, you want to turn on the stove, or you want to turn on your induction cooker, or you want to cook this or cook that. And then you put your mind into it. And some people like to, and not like to, but you shouldn't. May the food have all, may I pour my metta into all the food here so that the food become tasty and good. No, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. Metta is for living beings, not for your food. You radiate the metta to all your people around you. Let's say your this one around you. Just touch and go. Let them be free from harm and danger and so on. Then okay, because that only take you a few seconds only. Then after you come back to do your cooking. Then when you do your cooking, you don't put as I said, you don't put your metta in your coffee, you don't put your metta in your Maggi mee or put this or that. That is all being mindful. Don't simply add metta as your ingredient, So you must know where to put your metta. So metta is again for living beings. Okay. So when you do this metta, like in the everyday life, you don't have to worry about whether they are. That day I forgot about putting one thing here. Let me go up a little bit, all the way up. Oh yes, this is the one. Can you see the dearly loved ones and antipathic? Okay. That day I forgot to put the opposite sex because I was thinking of the opposite sex I was thinking in the mind is the dearly loved one, because if you are a wife, your dearly loved one may be your husband, maybe not. I don't know. Then for that, my mind was talking about that, but actually the opposite sex. Here, when you want to cultivate in terms of when you want to do actual formal sitting and walking meditation. This is for the sitting and walking meditation. But when you are doing daily activities, all these things, you try to put them all together in also. Because this time, you're not going to do you repeatedly again and again. It's more like touch and go. You give them a little bit of metta, and then go, and then you do something else. You do something else. For example, you don't like you don't like your neighbor. Your neighbor is a nuisance perhaps to you, and then during in the sitting walking, you don't use them as an object of your meditation. But in the daily mindfulness, then it's more like, may you be free from harm and danger. May all if the people in the office, and let's say later part you go into the office, you sit down, and then may all of us here be free from harm and danger. May all be well. May all be happy. May all be safe. Then here, you throughout the day you try to do these things, and here you have to remember to do. And that is where we forget. If some of you here are got husband and wife meditating, or children and meditating together with you, then it would be very good. Because let's say if you see your husband keep on watching TV, hey, go meditate. Why you? Then that would be good, somebody to remind you, somebody to this one. If you're staying alone, then you better have something to remind you. Yeah, be mindful. If sometimes if you are, some people may just write a paper, they stuck there in your mirror there. Every time you look at the mirror, then be mindful or spread the Mettā or something like this. Just you have to remember. If you don't remember, nobody can help you right now. In the retreat center, during the retreat center, sometimes it's the yogi, they're not mindful, But when the teacher walk past through them, suddenly all the mindfulness come in. Because they're afraid kena tangkap. They're afraid they get caught by the teachers. So they suddenly get... But here, when you're at home, there's nobody can able to see you. Nobody can check on you. So you have to have some degree of able to remember. So throughout the day, whether you are in the office, when you come back, may all of us here be free from harm and danger. May all of us here be this one. Okay. Now, here also, of course, when we are in this situation, pandemic and so on, it is also, just now I saw that something in the chat there. Where's my screen? Something in the chat there I saw. Can I radiate to the COVID-19 virus or not? I cannot lah. COVID-19 virus, Delta variant. I mean, you in the chat you want to give Delta variant. How about the other variant you don't want to give? No. Okay, so that this one, it's you cannot do like that. You cannot do like that. Now let us go back to the screen sharing again. Now let us go back to this one again. You cannot do like this because you are narrowing down, and a lot of times your Mettā is not really genuine. Later, I tell you why is it not genuine, and that also is important. Your Mettā is like very narrow, and there's a lot of other baggage, other defilements that's connected to it. So, nevertheless, as I said, here when you are doing this daily activities, daily mindfulness, daily Mettā, make sure you throughout the day. Just even right before you sleep, may all beings be well and happy. Or be mindful while you are lying down, also can. So this is simple. This is not difficult. If those who are doing 2 hours per day or more, a little bit more, those time when you do not have walking or sitting, you got to do this a lot more, because every moment you keep on doing this, the later part when you come into the meditation, the actual walking and sitting, it become much better. If you don't start off somewhere and then you come to the sitting, there's nothing much. You got to the fire is not there. You got to stir up everything again to make the fire up. But here, when your daily activities, you already start doing some Mettā, start doing some mindfulness already, and then that will be very helpful for you when it comes into the meditation. Not only talking about your own attitude and your own anger and so on, that one it will come together too. You become better as the days, as the time, as you keep on developing further and further. But it will help you when you actually on the day when you want to do the actual sitting or walking meditation. So make sure that this one you do it as much as you can. This one is so much variation here. Now, I'm going to talk about a little bit more on this one. So that some of us who are very new to this meditation, we need to differentiate a bit what is mindfulness and what is everyday awareness. Because they are different. They are different mental states. And also further on, we need to further to divide them into what is Noble Eightfold Path of mindfulness and what is secular mindfulness. Secular means when you do it when it's not connected to Buddhism, like nowadays, a very popular form of mindfulness. So we're going to look into that, because this is also, we must know how to draw the line. Now, everyday awareness, when I say everyday awareness, it's just like the things that we do. When we are not mindful, we just do things. We just take a shower, brush our teeth. Those daily things, open the door, we close the door, and all those things, we do it like as if without thinking like that. This is called everyday awareness. And that awareness is not mindfulness. For those who are new in this meditation, because I've seen the forms that you are completely new in the meditation. Not even, you do not have vipassana, or you don't even have Mettā or any form of meditation. So just to be clear, is that this everyday awareness that you just touch here, open door here, drive here and there, these one all not mindfulness. So what is mindfulness then? Now, of course, in other talks in the past, I mentioned the mindfulness a lot in many ways. And also one of the talks also, I think during the faculties, when we talk about mindfulness, then how the mindfulness is connected to other mental states, or the 6 pairs of cetasika, the 6 pairs of mental factors, and how this mindfulness become, when it's all blend in together, how it makes your mind very flexible, the mindfulness very flexible, very adaptable, and so on. But we're going to go into that so much so far. But what we want you to do, at least you must know that when the mindfulness comes in, you know the mindfulness comes in. For example, when you know that when the anger comes in, you know that you are angry, because you know the state is like that. When there's a mind is sleepy, you know that the mind is sleepy. Here, mindfulness, it means that it's a more of a, where did I write? Present mind. This mind is present, yet it is a heightened awareness. It's a heightened awareness. All right? The mind is present. That is to say, if you are going into a lot of past thinking, you go into a lot of past thinking, you go into the story of those thinking, or we keep on planning and imagining about the future and so on, then mindfulness will not be there. Okay? What we want, the type of mindfulness, is that the present type of mindfulness, that your mind is in the present, but yet is a heightened type of awareness. It's not just everyday awareness, but it's a heightened type. That means it's more clearer than your normal everyday doing things. We have mindfulness every now and then as we pass through our life, but we do not know that is mindfulness. For example, the mindfulness comes in when you are doing something more thoroughly, and you have to be more careful. For example, you want to handle something very sharp. You do not want to cut yourself. So what do? You heighten up your awareness to know what is going on at that present moment. You're carrying a bowl of you're handling the kettle, and it's hot water perhaps, and then you want to be careful. You do not want it to spill on the floor, and so on. You handle it carefully. So it is a form of mindfulness. Perhaps when you're driving and it's raining, then your attention, it's very alert to see the road and everything. Then that time also, you may not know what is going on with on the radio or on the music that you play on, because your alertness is there. This is what we want. That heightened awareness, and not only that heightened awareness, we want to make it continuous. At least continuous, it will be very helpful for the meditation. Most of the time, it's just being aware and then we touch and go. Being aware, we touch and go. Sometimes that it is useful, but it is not continuous. So to have mindfulness and to have a continuous mindfulness, that is sort of two different things. Okay? So you want to have that mindfulness, you want to have that heightened awareness. So that heightened awareness, it needs to build up somewhere. For example, if let's say you touch, right now that you touch your table or you touch the floor, or you touching the computer or your your tablet or whatsoever. Now when you touch that thing and you feel, is it warm? Is it cold? Just feel it for a while, and if you have that, and you be alert of it, then the mindfulness will come in. Initially, you touch there, you think, what is there to touch? What is there to feel? There's nothing much, because the mind is not trained up. So when your mind is more trained up, then you touch, you can feel things a little bit more deeper. Because of that heightened awareness. And this is come with training. You have to do it again and 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 again. So when you do that, then you know that this mindfulness starts coming in, and that is very good. So that one, so the mindfulness, you begin to divide that mindfulness and the everyday awareness. So that is very important. So make sure that your mind don't run away, don't go to the past and future, stay in the present, then be aware of whatever that you are doing in more clearer manner. In more clearer manner. Then that is mindfulness is coming in. A little bit, at least a little bit. So you do it more and more, getting more and more and more and more and more and more and more. Simple, isn't it? It's not that difficult. It's just you are lazy only. It's not difficult, as I said. Now, after you have that mindfulness, okay? Now, after you have that mindfulness, then you have to further divide which one is this Noble Eightfold Path mindfulness and what is this secular mindfulness. Secular means this worldly mindfulness. Now, the worldly mindfulness here is that you're using it for you develop that mindfulness for the happiness of your everyday life. That is to say, if you have going through, let's say for example, you go through some anxiety, then you develop that mindfulness so that you overcome that anxiety. So if you develop mindfulness, for example, you want to become able to manage yourself better, and then you develop that mindfulness, that is all called secular mindfulness. And not to say they are bad, not to say that they are unwholesome. They are still wholesome, but they are worldly, because the mindfulness is being used for the purpose of overcoming problems in everyday life, to give you some joy in everyday life, to give you some a balance in everyday life, or being centered in everyday life. They use it different words for it in order to attract a lot of people. And nowadays, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry, a US billion, not a Malaysia billion, not enough. US billion-dollar activity. Nowadays, you look at your phone, they have this mindfulness app. How many mindfulness apps they come up Apple got their own mindfulness app. At Google, they got their own mindfulness app. And there's so many other third party, they have their own apps for mindfulness thing. So those are, they help you to develop a better happiness in the present living. So that is not a Noble Eightfold Path type of mindfulness. The Noble Eightfold Path mindfulness, this is mindfulness is related with the right view. Okay? And the right view here is connected to the Four Noble Truths. If you develop mindfulness, and let's say if you develop mindfulness every day, even you are a Buddhist also, let's say even if you are Buddhist, and there are many, many Buddhists, they like this mindfulness, but you ask them, get out of samsara, don't want yet. Samsara is still beautiful, still nice. I want to still enjoy every day. What mindfulness? Nibbana is too far away. Then your mindfulness is still a very circular mindfulness. Although you know about Noble Eightfold Path, but you are not directing the whole mindfulness towards the ending of cycle of birth and rebirth. You only want happiness only in this everyday life. So this Noble Eightfold Path has, as the right view, then the whole mindfulness is directed. All forms of development, whatever form of development, whether it's Mettā, Vipassana, Karuna, this and that, that mindfulness, that samadhi is all directed so that one can get out of this samsara at the end. So right in the beginning of the Dhamma talk, on Monday, as I said, the purpose here I teach this Mettā is to support you, so that when you're in the future endeavor for the liberation, your path, your spiritual path will be much more smoother. Because of that, Mettā helps to sort of like soften and sort of like moisten the whole path, make it more smoother in your, as you carry on in this spiritual life. So here the Noble Eightfold Path is important. The right view, the right goal, those are important. So here, as I said, our Mettā is developed towards that, and hopefully all of you, you can able to direct your mind finally towards the end, the cycle of our birth and rebirth. Not just only for happiness in everyday life, but nevertheless, if you have mindfulness of the Noble Eightfold Path type of mindfulness, you also will overcome your anxiety. You will also be overcome your other problems and so on. Because it's mindfulness. You bring it into a more noble goal rather than just a worldly goal. So this is what we want. So try to develop that mindfulness, and together when we incorporate with that Mettā, then it'll be very powerful, and when it comes into your sitting meditation and also your walking meditation. And then after that, because you can able to develop it well, then the confidence, the faith will start rolling in already. At least you know that you can able to develop that Mettā. If you are lazy in this area, then Bhante, how come my Mettā do this, do that? I radiate here, radiate there, all kosong, all empty, all don't feel anything only. Because one of the big part you don't know, not doing it. So the big part of your time throughout the whole day, you're not doing it, and then you expect something from your walking, something from your sitting, and then you want miracle. Wait. Now, here we try to differentiate the mindfulness also. In the Mettā also, we need to differentiate a little bit also, because if you can see so long, you simply just do your Mettā. Sometimes you, without our sort of without your own wisdom coming in, then the defilements will start connected with the Mettā. Let us see a little bit. Here. Mettā towards oneself and one's ego. Sometimes, I think many of you, even before your interview starts, I think I know what you're going to say already. I'm not a psychic, but one of the things is that, Bhante, how come I radiate Mettā to myself? Uabo, God or not? Or sometimes I feel that my Mettā is very difficult for myself. Why, Bhante? So difficult. I cannot feel for myself. Something again. I thought I saw again something on the chat again. Somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. How do we know that we are reading Mettā to oneself or not? Yeah, that means here we, in the beginning part, of course, we sort of like we do not know the nature of the Mettā. Yeah, you see, a number of people in the past when they do Mettā, is that they you see, when you say ego, ego comes in a very different form. And this ego is not that one day you develop. It's throughout your life that you have been building up small little bit, until your mind becomes so hardened that you don't realize it until when you want to start doing Mettā for yourself. How come Mettā for myself tak boleh jalan, cannot work one? Then you feel, then someday you sit there, may I be well and happy. What about feel happy? Sorry, I don't feel happy. I don't feel good about myself. Every time I share the Mettā to me. Bhante, cannot, very difficult. Why? Because all your life, you have a hard time, or sometimes you may have putting your life, you have been very hard on yourself. Your life, you want to achieve a certain goal, and then some of the goals in your life that you may not able to achieve it. You below your own expectation, and when you below your expectation, you kind of like angry with yourself. That little bit you're angry, then you forget about it. Then another time, another situation, you do the same thing also, and then you get angry with yourself, or you dislike yourself. And those things starts to build up, over time. Because you do that again and again and again and again. Then after that, later part in your life, you begin to learn about Mettā. Then when the teacher says, may I be free from harm and danger. Bhante, cannot feel so hard now myself. So hardened the whole mind. Why? Because it's already developed throughout your whole life. That is one get hard with ourselves. Sometimes we also, like, for example, we like to see other people happy. We want to give things to people, happiness, but we cannot give ourselves happiness. We cannot what do we call that? Pamper yourself a little bit. Cannot one. Other people, you're happy, okay, you found them happy, but towards oneself, you're very hard on yourself. When you're hard on yourself, you want to provide for everybody, but you are very hard on yourself. Then over time, this attitude becomes hardened. You're very, very hardened attitude. And then this is where Mettā towards yourself, it's very difficult. Or perhaps another way is that if you're a person in the office, and you are maybe you are a superior, or you are an office worker, and you don't want to be bullied, and you are a boss, and you want to give instruction to different people, and different people have different attitude, have a different tendency, and then you be very firm, very hardened, with yourself and with others, and then with that nature you harden it up over time. Again, it harden up until when you want to radiate to oneself, then you find it very difficult. A lot of times we are having it without we realizing it, until we want to spread Mettā to ourselves. When we want to radiate Mettā to ourselves, we don't even know how to be happy with ourselves. Yeah, we just don't even know. You don't have to give anything to yourself right now. It's just a mind giving it to oneself. It's so difficult because the whole ego is blocking you. We call it the whole thing is there. Because the attitude is so hardened. So how right now? And then here is where when you start off with Mettā with oneself, that every time you see, when we begin to have Mettā, the teacher says you have to start off with oneself, which is good. And that is where we slowly and then you get this like a small little hammer. You begin to start to knock on your ego, You put the Mettā there, We slowly, gently begin to radiate to oneself. Now, for example, some of you may have a hard time giving to oneself. We understand. Now, for example, when you're sitting down, then if you want to radiate to your own self, you kind of like imagine mental imagination, then as if like you are standing in front of you, then from there, as if like there's another person you wish, may I be free from harm and danger. May I be free from all mental suffering. Then all the suffering that you are going through, all the pain that you are going through, then you wish yourself genuinely. Sometimes a lot of us, like when we are suffering and so on, we don't want to let other people know. Well, we don't want to burden people, But then we get very hard on ourselves. So when we want to radiate, may I be free from all this physical suffering, and because of you hold on to your suffering internally so long that when you want to feel that may I be free from suffering, you find it very difficult because you are somewhat holding on there. You cannot slowly able to let go. So that's why it's so difficult to do it to oneself. So this take time to slowly knock yourself, to slowly knock that ego down. And as I said, the ego comes in many, many forms. Until one day you can able to feel happy with yourself. The happiness is not like coming as like you are joy, like start to smile to everybody and say, not like that. It's like truly like you are able to genuinely feel happy for yourself, as if like you can able to feel happy for other people. There is no barrier between yourself and others that you love. There is no barrier. You love them so much, you love yourself that much also. That time when you slowly break down that barrier, then when you spread that Mettā, may I be free from harm and danger, then it truly will start to shine from inside out. From inside out. Now, sometimes there are also some teachers and some guide, they like to have like, when you sit, during your sitting, then you should start have smile in your face, Then it will help to arouse Mettā. To me, that is not so important. That is not so important. What is important is your heart that is smiling, not the mouth that is smiling. Because some people, I know how they go meditate. They sit there, they try to smile. But then the heart all kosong one, no, nothing much one. They sit there, keep on smiling because they don't want to let the people see them when they are sitting down. Their mouth is not smiling and so on. Their ego is about I. And then sometimes there are meditators also that I know of, because they're trying to smile. They become so engrossed about their smiling rather than what is happening in the heart area. They feel that sit down, make sure that I must keep smiling. Make sure that I keep smiling. The smiling is more important than your metta thing. So you better be careful with that. So if you are not smiling, it does not matter. As the mindfulness starts to come up, not necessarily all the time the mouth smile, but sometimes there may be certain smile coming in. But don't expect that the smile must always come in, with metta. It's not a prerequisite, it's not a prerequisite, okay? So this one, is to break down that barrier. So what you should do? Keep on doing it. Keep on doing it. May I be free from harm and danger. May I be free from May I be free from all the suffering. And then you keep on pushing. You keep on pushing through that barrier. Finally, when you begin to touch yourself, then you can really actually feel it. So metta towards oneself. Now the second one, genuine and sincere wish versus there's ulterior intention, motives, and expectation. Now, when it says sincere wish, that means there must not be any ulterior intention and so on. Here, for example, a lot of us, when we do metta, we do a lot. It comes with expectation. Your mouth say one thing, but your heart say another thing. For example, you go in. This is high. This is usually my example. You go into the hotel room. You sit there, you see ghosts and so on. May you all be well and happy. May you all be well and happy. But back of your mind, hey, you all don't come near me. You all go far away. May you all be well and happy. You say in your mouth, may you be well and happy. May all of you be well and happy. But your ulterior motive is that you don't want them to come. You want them to live and so on. Then that is ulterior motive. You see, in this one. Let me show you something. Let me show you something here. Can you see loving kindness Metta Sutta? Okay. This Metta Sutta that we chant, Karaniya, Matta Kusalena, and so on. This loving kindness sutta, this is from Sutta Nipata. And this one is interesting. But there is one part about the commentary about this sutta. Let me go through commentary. Loving kindness there. Loving kindness, Metta Sutta. What is the origin? This is from the text, the commentary itself. It is said that the bhikkhu, harassed by deities on the slope of Himalayas, went to the Blessed One at Savatthi, and the Blessed One spoke this discourse to them for protection as a meditation subject. This is the brief account, but the following is a detailed account. I'm not going to go into the detailed account. Now here, the bhikkhus when they goes into the forest to meditate. The bhikkhus was harassed by the deities that are staying there. And then this is while Vasa. Vasa is like right now, Vasa period. Then they cannot stay there. After that, they went back to the Buddha. So when they went back to the Buddha, they gave them the encounter that says that the deities has been coming and disturbed and so on, and so on. They give all kinds of images, all kinds of order, all kinds of things, just to want to get rid of the bhikkhus. And the bhikkhus left. But after that, the Buddha mentioned that. Y'all go back there again. Y'all go back there again. But this time, together with the loving kindness meditation, together with other meditation also. So when it starts to radiate loving kindness meditation, towards the end of this sutta, then it says this. Let me go further a little bit. And this sutta is good, I mean, the story is secondary, but I just want to tell you that there's no motive in the Mettā, but the sutta actually is very good. It's very important. What is meant by everything? They tell you exactly what is frugal, what is this one courteous. Then they tell you everything. There's a lot of things that we can able to learn from that. Maybe one day, maybe. Let me see. This is quite a long thing. They tell you word by word. What is it? Until the end of the whole sutta. Hold on, I have to go to that particular thing. Just to show you. Okay. Himavata Sutta. All right. Now, having replied, excellent, they paid homage to the Blessed One, circumambulated him, went back to the forest and acted accordingly. The deities, the last two lines, the deities were filled with rapture and joy, thinking, the venerable ones wish for our good and welfare, and they themselves swept the lodging and prepared water, massaged their backs and feet, and set up a guard. Having developed mindfulness as they were taught, the bhikkhus took as a basis, aroused its insight, and within 3 months period, all attained arahantship, the foremost fruit, and then they and so on. So what I'm trying to say is that the bhikkhus does not chase the deities out. They do not chase the deities out. They share the loving kindness and to wish them fully well and happy. Not like you all have a ulterior motive when you do this Mettā, may you all be well and happy, don't come and disturb me. May you all be free from harm and danger. Some people, like for example, what I know, they say, Bhante, when I start to do this Mettā, to that colleague particularly who very angry with me then I share Mettā with them, with him or her. After that, she doesn't come and kacau me anymore, doesn't come and disturb me anymore, Bhante. This Mettā is wonderful. Sometimes, yes, I know it's wonderful, but you see, a lot of times your ulterior motive is that you don't want him to come and disturb you, You share Mettā with him. But other colleague, you're not sharing Mettā with them. You only share with Mettā with that particular person because your ulterior motive, you don't want that one to come and disturb you. You tell me these things, you think it's good, yes, but I can see a little bit further than what you can see. Sometimes you don't realize that our ulterior motive is there, our expectation is there. So that's why it is important for us to take note of these things. When you genuinely wish a person, there must not be any form of ulterior motive. When you wish the person, may you be well and happy, it's about you be well and happy. The Mettā will, by its own accord, it will give you the protection. What you need to do is just give that sincere wish to the person. So, this is something that I have to say. And then here, just before we go, Mettā versus sensual desire. Mettā is something that is a good wish, being happy for others. Not you want something for others, you attach to others' property, or you want this, you want that, or you want the other person, and so on. So a lot of times, sometimes people say that when you get married, or when you're in a romance, boyfriend, girlfriend, and so on. Then you say that sometimes you have Mettā for them, sometimes there's desire for them, and so on. But honestly speaking, there's mostly is all desire. There's nothing much on Mettā actually. Mostly it's all desire. Mettā is a very pure state of mind that when you wish your husband or your wife and you wish your children, and you wish your enemy, finally, all metta is all the same. They are even in the same tone. That you wish that happiness for your husband or your wife is the same happiness that you wish it for your enemy. That level of sameness, that same frequency. Some of us, like, you wish our family to be happy, but the rest of that you don't care about them. The rest of the people you go say like a sea, you don't bother. Then that is not metta. That is not metta. You care, but there's a lot of background. There's a lot of attachment is there. A lot of attachment. We don't realize it. So metta is throughout whoever they are, whatever beings they are, whether hell beings or animals, you throw out towards them, it's all that genuine, sincere wish. It's that same level of wish, finally. Not you want this one more for your husband or for your family and less for other people. Not like that. So that's what I need to share with you too. So when you do this metta throughout the day, so make sure that you try not to do any ulterior motive. Make sure that you share with the rest of the people, the rest of the beings. May all beings be well, may all beings be happy. You don't wish anything, whether they harm you or they attack you or whatever. Do not worry about that. You just share only. So after that, you do for oneself once in a while. You do oneself for once in a while. May I be free, may I be happy, may I be peaceful. All right? Not too difficult, isn't it? Okay, already 10 o'clock here already. Anyway, so we're going to stop here. Yeah. So tomorrow night we do not have Dhamma talk, but tomorrow night we have interview, and only for those who are doing the interview only come in. For the rest of you, please don't come in. If you are not in this one, don't come in. Not in that group, then you don't come in. Then on Friday we're going to have a Q&A session. Now the Q&A session, the priority again I give to those people who registered. If you send in your questions, and now this time the questions is on the practice of metta or the understanding of metta, around that area, around the subject of metta. You don't ask me about vipassana, you don't ask me about other things, It's only subject on metta and your practice. Then we can able to share it, discuss it on further. So those this one, you send your question to Sister Hun Ling. You send your question to Sister Hun Ling, and maybe later she will put up the phone number for all of you to see in the chat area. So this is on this one. So the next list of interview, the following list of interview, I will send to you all on Friday only. Okay? For Friday, there's no interview. Then we'll go on Saturday already, the interview. All right? Okay? So we'll stop here for tonight.